After a few weeks of making fun of a potential pedophile, I think it's time we go back to everyone's favorite internet punching bag, Christian Weston Chandler. Chris and music. Chris is a big fan of music. At first glance, his eclectic taste in music is not unconventional, because there are many people who have deep interest in multiple genres and decades. It's the ways he's presented his taste over the years that are pretty unconventional. Most people understand that a Guitar Hero controller is not an actual instrument, but Chris isn't most people. Chris is also infamous for overestimating his singing ability and music recording methods, despite having trouble remembering the lyrics, melodies, the pitch, and even the instruments used in his favorite songs. Nevertheless, Chris has dabbled in music production, with over 60 covers, parodies, and original songs. He loves music so much, he is turned on by the very concept of it.
Sonichu's still rocking in my head.
Musical taste. Chris has often remarked that he likes all popular music. While it's possible that he's just giving that answer to appear cool and easygoing, he really does seem to try to listen to whatever popular opinion tells him is good. Almost every song on either of his 3 horrible albums was a top 40 hit in America or another country, or otherwise a deep cut on a successful album, a B-side on a successful single or EP, or songs featured on the soundtracks to either hit movies such as Pokemon, the first movie, or video games such as Guitar Hero or Rock Band. It is worth noting that part of Chris's taste in music aren't too unconventional. Many people do have a deep interest in multiple genres and decades, and many adult contemporary and classic hit stations are living proof. The genres Chris tends to favor, specifically pop and rock, are also popular and mainstream. It's also common for people to develop interest in songs from means such as a video game, movies, radio, television, their parents' music collection, etc. I can't fault him for that. I love the Sims soundtrack. Chris has stated that his favorite radio station is Z95.1 WQMZ from Charlottesville, which plays nothing but inoffensive popular songs, specifically from the 1980s to today, that you're likely to hear in the dentist's office. The station bills its offerings as today's hits and yesterday's favorites, music for women. Chris listens to the John Tesh radio show on this station, and once won a set of tickets to a sporting event through a call-in contest. He has left his radio on before during his videos, as well as a few of his mumble chats, for the whole conversation. This meant that he both enjoyed the background music and was totally inconsiderate to the other people in the chat. The only specific artist Chris seems to truly idolize is Britney Spears. There is virtually no doubt that this is more because of her beauty than her music, or for memories of happier times. On his date with Emily, he claimed to like Louis Armstrong in an effort to look like a sophisticated jazz listener. If his past downloads on Rhapsody is any indication, almost everything Chris listens to has been in a Guitar Hero, Rock Band, or Sonic game. This adds yet more weight to the theory that Chris is spoon-fed pop culture from video games and Family Guy. Also, keeping with the theme of liking things that most kids are unaware of or would not enjoy, Chris has twice referenced Billy Joel's upbeat 1985 track You're Only Human, Second Wind, a dated but memorable reggae pop song written specifically to stop teenagers from killing themselves. To date, Chris has referenced the song in a YouTube video where he says that relieving yourself from stress isn't a big deal. And again, when asked by a fan whether he'd had thoughts of suicide, Chris replied, with utterly no elaboration at all, that he had a lot to live for, and told said fan to go listen to the song. Chris has also expressed a fondness for the Insane Clown Posse, releasing 2 videos in which he paints his face and talks about being a juggalo. Since fans of ICP tend to be stereotyped as idiotic, out-of-shape, white trash jerkasses who believe themselves to be outcasts of society, it is easy to understand why becoming a juggalo would appeal to Chris.
I like men as I like heavy metal music. I do not like heavy metal music, hardly a real beat or tune, and the lyrics are incoherent.
Chris's incoherent words about the incoherency of heavy metal. In a Patreon post made on the 4th of August 2017, Chris reveals that he has a distaste for heavy metal music. To him, all hard rock music has little to no real beats or music, and he finds the lyrics hard to follow. Singing.
And when singing, I can have a Frank Sinatra or Bing Crosby flavor.
Chris, being sadly mistaken. It is impossible to overstate how much of a terrible singer Chris is. It is similarly impossible to overstate how deluded Chris is about his ability to sing. He's so deluded, in fact, when trying to confront Liquid via artistic competition, he lost a challenge that he nominated himself. Despite claiming to have a deep bass voice, Chris's voice is unusually high-pitched and often louder than appropriate.
Because that's what you deserve, you goddamn womanizing, raping, trolling, stupid, pickle-suited.
He also tends to speak in an odd, emotionless monotone. These issues with his voice became even more obvious when he tries to sing. In both his Christian and the Hedgehog Boys albums, as well as the only album from Roby Sony and the Tom Girls, he doesn't actually sing so much as he desperately tries to yell over the track in an attempt to drown out the actual words of the song, as he never bothers to look up karaoke or instrumental versions of anything he sings. This is painfully obvious when he attempts to sing Sonichu Zip, a song that uses the Japanese theme song to the anime Sonic X Sonic Drive. The fast-tempo lyrics of Sonic Drive result in Chris rapidly dissolving into screaming gibberish. When he does try to actually vary his voice from the standard monotone, it becomes very obvious that Chris is almost completely tone deaf. His voice fluctuates in pitch with little to no regard for the background music, or even the original artist he's shouting over. Occasionally, he's barely managed to carry a tune though. If Chris could sing at all, his voice type would be at best a spieltenor, used for comical roles, pushing towards countertenor, a pitch range octaves above the bass range he claims to have, and a tessitura, note range, too high for many women. Chris also has a lot of trouble with tempo and entries. While the songs he's written usually manage to match the originals in terms of lyrical rhythms, Chris often pushes ahead or pulls back from the tempo of the song. This is sometimes done deliberately by singers and is called rubato, but in Chris's case it is generally the result of messing up lyrics or having too many or few words for the rhythm, usually the former. And Chris's tenuous sense of pulse means that once he gets thrown off beat he struggles, usually in vain, to recover. This could probably be avoided if he took time to practice or revise, but since this entails work, it is flatly out of the question. Also owing to this non-existent practice ethic is Chris being completely terrible at remembering the actual words of the song he's singing. The only part he tends to know is the chorus of the song, likely because the repetition makes it the only part of the song he pays attention to. Between choruses, however, he often forgets the words and improvises lyrics, which invariably consist of mumbled, incoherent nonsense. Acapella. Acapella is a musical technique that entails using nothing but the human voice, and sometimes the body, to produce music. In the official video books, Chris will occasionally break out into acapella renditions of what one can only assume is supposed to be Sonichu's theme music. These bizarre freestyle musical interludes drive home exactly how childish Chris is. There's something uniquely terrifying about a man in his mid-30s who looks like he's actually 45, showing us his Sonic/Pokemon crossover and shouting, "Dun dun dun!" Chris also occasionally does this in his normal videos. He also performed a poor rendition of the Final Countdown by Europe while showing us that he could still pick up a chair, and an equally as awful version of Q Lazarus's Goodbye Horses while pretending to dig up his dead dog and wear it as a coat. And let's not forget Lovin' You, where he attempts to do a cappella, but thanks to a sheer lack of practice, and simply ends up massacring a classic song by singing it completely out of tune and tempo. Despite his frequent use of a cappella, Chris clearly doesn't understand the full meaning of the word. During the Parappa the Rapper contest, a frequent source of rage from Chris was the music in the background of Adam Stackhouse's video, which Chris vehemently claimed was a violation of the rules regarding backing tracks. However, since the music was simple beatboxing, it would be considered a cappella by most. Rap. With the popularity of artists like Eminem, Macklemore, Post Malone, and Jedi Mind Tricks, plus the odd continued existence of nerdcore, white guys rapping on YouTube is not unheard of. Some of these individuals demonstrate an impressive talent in their ability to flow a beat. Chris is not among them. Of course, his most notable foray into rap is his entry in the Parappa the Rapper contest. While his motivations and the drama it caused are covered extensively in that article, the video itself is characterized by a complete lack of rhythm or flow. The result can be best described as sounding like a drunk Muppet being startled every 30 seconds. Chris slurring his words together constantly and periodically yelling lyrics for no reason. Before he starts the song in earnest, Chris does a little bit of freestyling in the beginning. Needless to say, it's not promising.
I have a PSP, and she don't, so give me the PSP, unwrap the wrapper, so I can give one to her, and then we can play together.
Chris, almost rhyming. This, however, was nothing compared to a later foray into the genre. Playing Aerosmith in the background instead of any sort of backbeat, Chris basically just shouts a lot of random short sentences with no regard of how they flow, or if they even rhyme at all.
You just a dang dummy, and you still chicken, you's a dang coward. You wanna come fight me? Come fight me in person. Come out from behind the camera, you fool.
Chris rapping. In December 2009, Chris would once again rap to the Insane Clown Posse's side project Dark Lotus. As usual, he made no attempt to learn the lyrics and appears to be reading them off a piece of paper to unconvincing effect. During a portion of the video, he simply mumbles to himself, rocking back and forth and fondling his ample breasts not once, but twice. But he also refers to himself as a juffalo, a term apparently used by insane clown posse aficionados to describe non-committal posers who aren't good enough to fully appreciate the world of clown-related glam rap. 2 days prior to this, he made another awful freestyle rap. The point of this is unclear, although apparently he visited a doctor who suggested that he take over-the-counter vitamins. He likens the effects of these vitamins to Viagra, and then compares himself to a tiger raping a panther to produce tiger-panther cubs. You've seen life through distorted eyes. You know you had to learn. The execution of your mind. You really had to turn. Chris seems to have a very tenuous grasp on what constitutes a musical instrument. Notably, in several videos, Chris tends to treat his Guitar Hero controller like it's a real instrument. This seems outright foolish, even for Chris, until you consider his mindset. All of Chris's creations are copies of other things, yet are still somehow completely original. So by playing someone else's song on Guitar Hero, his autistic mindset dictates that he is actually playing the song, no matter if the song is a cover of the original, which necessitates a legitimate instrument on which to play it. As further proof of his madness, Chris equated Liquid's actual musical skill to him playing Guitar Hero, to such a degree that he felt it necessary to outlaw both in the SingStar Challenge.
I got the idea of the challenge from him copying me playing Boston's More Than a Feeling on Guitar Hero on his old wooden nickel. If he wants a copy on guitar, he may as well be challenged in a sing-off.
Chris, blowing the minds of guitarists of all talent levels. Yeah, I want this guy to play some music at my funeral. Chris and tone deafness. It is telling that not only does Chris lack any sense of pitch in singing, but with melodies in general. This is evidenced in the wedding anniversary special, where he claims to be playing the original theme to Sonic, but ends up with some wildly unrecognizable tune that only vaguely resembles the Sonic theme rhythmically. This proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that Chris is actually tone deaf, instead of simply lacking in vocal skills. Some think it's a symptom of autism, as subtleties in tone and intonation indicating emotional and social cues are beyond his grasp, which in turn would affect recognition of pitch changes in music. However, something isn't right. In fact, autistic people are more likely to have perfect pitch than non-autistics, an ability shared with Mozart, Michael Jackson, Mariah Carey, Charlie Puth, and others. So if plenty of fellow autistics have this otherwise rare musical gift, why does Chris end up with the opposite? The Autism Papers provides a great clue. Chris lost some of his high-frequency hearing in early childhood. Recording method. Chris's idea of accompaniment is putting the original song playing on the background using his PS3 and the near $1,000 Sony LCD HD TV and the most expensive speakers his tugboat could tug in, while he sings with his unique voice. The singing, of course, is dutifully recorded with a long-suffering PSI camera. The implications are staggering. There's always a huge quality loss when music is played on speaker and then re-recorded from a distance because the acoustics of the room distorts the sound and the air itself blocks low and high frequencies, leaving you with only a distorted fraction of the original sound. Chris, of course, believes that everything he does is perfect on the first try and never has to be redone, just like his art. The original lyrics are still on the song, at least on one occasion. Chris even screwed up harder than this, and got the cover of Never Gonna Give You Up from Family Guy, clobbered by dialogue and other sounds. While lyrics often can't always be removed from a mixed song entirely, it's at least worth a shot trying lyrics removal software, or it might pay to look for an instrumental version or cover, or the song's stem files. When you have one go and one microphone to record everything, there's no way to correct the errors if you flub anything. The result is obviously perfect. Duh. Who are we kidding? Chris is, of course, unaware of the incredible leaps and bounds that music recording has advanced in recent years, and hasn't noticed that there are plenty of good multi-track sound editors available for free, many of which come with lyrics removal plugins. Chris also demands this sort of weird, screwy setup from others. One might assume, for example, that Brown Striped One, with actual musical talent, would have more technical know-how on how to record music properly, but the SingStar Challenge was done on Chris's strange terms. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more strange, did you know that Chris has actually done album art? That's right, his artwork has actually transcended into the music industry. Supposed musical artists have paid him money to create terrible album art. Don't believe me? Just look at the shit around me. Music fetish. Chris doesn't just love music, he's even turned on by the very concept of it. In February of 2017, although he's made passing mentions of it before, Chris stated on Facebook that he gets aroused when listening to music. Any music, not just certain songs. This includes music featured on Sailor Moon. As always, make of that what you will. Finally, being aroused by music is not unique to Chris. Otherwise, love songs such as Tonight I Celebrate My Love or Always would not have done well on the charts, and pop singers like Madonna wouldn't insert sexual innuendos into their hits. That said, most people aren't turned on by the very concept of music as a whole. Before we wrap this video up, let's listen to some of Chris's best music. Sit back, relax, and make sure you're wearing headphones because this shit is, chef kiss.
And I never wanna hear I want a boyfriend. Tell me why I'm stuck as a virgin with rage. Tell me why I so need a cute girl my age. Tell me why I ain't never wanna hear a dream of what I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. We've spending most of our lives living in a trollster's paradise. We've been spending most of our lives living in the trollster's paradise.
Anyways, that's the end of this video. If you like what you saw, please consider subscribing. If you want to support me in a more personal way, check out the Patreon link in the description or get yourself some merchandise from Teespring, which also has a link in the description. I've got more stuff coming down the pipeline, but until then, I'll see you degenerates next time.